Hi guys, welcome to Volt Sports. The Premiership is back. Today, Manchester United will be playing Fulham in the first game of the season. There are a whole lot of games that's going to be happening on Saturday and on Sunday. We are going to be previewing all the clubs, all the big guys, the Manchester United, the Arsenal, the Chelsea, Aston Villa, how they performed in this transfer market and where they think that they're going to finish in the season. We are going to give you our own prediction for the season. But now I'm going to give my own personal. I'm going to do that my own last, but I'll first focus with the guys, what they think about this Premiership, who is going to win, and how the big clubs or big guys perform in this transfer market. Okay, I'll start with you, John. Let's get your top four. Let's get your top four before we enter what they did in the market, based on how they perform in this market, based on their current squad, the players they brought in. Give us your top four prediction and why you think this is going to be a top four this season.
Okay, I feel first and foremost that I feel hot and very sad that you mentioned that you are going to talk about the top four, the big guys in the league, and you started with Manchester United.
They are playing today.
This is Manchester City are 4-in-a-row champions, and you're hurting my feelings. But it's fine, you know.
Okay.
It's what you see when you're on the road to do 5 in a row. These are the things you see, you know, if you understand. So for me, looking at the Premier League table this season, I'm looking at City finishing first, definitely Arsenal finishing second. Obviously in third place is going to be a tough fight between United and Chelsea, if I'm honest, and then Aston Villa coming in fourth.
So in your top place is either Manchester United or Chelsea. So one of them have to drop out from your top four.
Yes, one of them have to drop off.
Okay, let's get your prediction. Let's get your
one of them
prediction.
have to drop out from top three.
Top four actually. Top four. He said that
see,
either
if third is Chelsea.
No, see what he's saying. No, see what he's saying. No, he's saying it's either Manchester United finished third or Chelsea. So either of them will be third. So one of them will be out.
Then
Aston Villa will be fourth. Yeah. So let's get your own prediction. Yeah.
My prediction hard though.
Let's
go there. It's simple. Man City has always dominated. They will always be there in the top two. I'm not going to say first and second, and I will not rank them accordingly. But I'll just say,
we want to give us your own prediction.
So I think this season is going to be tough. We're going to see a different side Aston Villa. So I believe Aston Villa will pull out a rabbit from the hat this season. Pull out one of the biggest magical surprises this season. So for me, it will be Man United first, Arsenal second, Man City third, and Aston Villa fourth. Liverpool and Tottenham and Chelsea can go.
Okay, I get your prediction, but should I give my own prediction?
No,
I think I shouldn't. But I think I'll give my own before we end the show.
We all know who is going to be first.
Yeah, calm down, guys. Calm down. Okay, now if you look at all the clubs, let's talk about the big guys, how they perform in the transfer market. Let's start with Liverpool because Liverpool did not sign anybody. So, in short, in preview, why didn't they sign anybody? And do you think now if you check our prediction now, nobody's putting Liverpool based on the transfer market. It's obvious. Now the Premiership is back, and Slot is saying that they tried to be Mendy, didn't work. He didn't want to come, but that they are trying to bring in some players. But he feels that the squad is okay for this challenge. Do you think that he is right to Liverpool fans? Do you think that Liverpool fans are happy with what Liverpool did this season?
I think the right way to say it, they've not signed anybody yet because the transfer window is still open.
Yes.
And there could be, we heard about Mamadashvili, who is a goalkeeper. He's a player.
He's going to go back on loan at some point.
At least he's finalized this summer and then he can join the team next time. I know that's not what Liverpool fans are going to want, but, you know, for me, Liverpool haven't signed any player this summer so far. I feel like Alan Slot came in early enough to have had a feel of what the squad is. Let's not forget that during the last week of the Premier League, he was unveiled to the fans. Jurgen Klopp himself introduced him, passed the mic to him.
He had enough time.
So you have enough time. It's unlike the time Tuchel had at Chelsea when he came in. Unlike the other time when other managers like Ancelotti and co have come in just as the season has already started, and you are coming in at the end of the previous season. You have 2 full months to sit down with the board, with the management, and talk about what you want to do, where you want to go, and who you need to take you those places. Those conversations either haven't happened or they either haven't found the funds to move for those players, or thirdly, maybe those players are not ready to move, like we saw with the case of Zubimendi. But no doubt to them, they have a squad that can contend for the top 6 this season. Why? Because the manager that used to be there, the driver, is no longer there. Everybody will need to adjust to Anslot. Anslot will have to learn on the job, because
learn on the job. He won the title in Holland. So what is he learning?
Irrespective, I feel like he is going to adjust to the Premier League.
Yes.
And it's going to take him time. So top 6 for me.
Okay, top 6. Okay, so let's move to Chelsea, because Chelsea, you know now, Chelsea is always Chelsea. They are still talking with Felix. Osimhen might still come before the end of the window, but the Premiership is starting. So they have to play with the squad they have now. If you look at where they finished last season, and the business they have done this season, where are you seeing Chelsea? I know that you've done your own prediction, but generally, do you think that they have enough for this Premier League?
Big 6 is always Big 6. Like I said this the other day on the show, on one of the live shows. Big 6 is a Big 6. You can put yourself in that category of Big 6, but when you move out of top 4, make sure you maintain that Big 6 standard by performing well on the pitch and market-wise, fan base-wise, and all of that. But for Chelsea this summer, they've done something out of place. Getting players in for the youth setup to send on loan, because most of these players they got in, the Gui that they brought from Barcelona might not be starting. He might be going on loan anytime soon, and we are hearing rumors that some clubs are beginning to ask for him, Newcastle and the rest of them.
If they get Felix and Osimhen.
Even if they don't get Felix and Osimhen, these players might be going for loan. We are hearing the likes of Amanda Breuer, who has been in the Serie A for a couple of years now. He's gone back on loan, gone back on loan. In the Serie A, if you look at, I don't know why Serie A keep moving him out of the rankings for player of the season, or perhaps team of the season. He's done wonders. Off the bench, he's been giving results, and yet he comes back to the Chelsea fold, and he's been sent to play with the academy graduates and not use the first team setup. So I think it's a problem for Chelsea. They need to find a way to bring in these players that have gone on loan into the team. Tomari is doing fantastic at AC Milan. Look at him now. Many of the big clubs are also looking to sign him in.
Tomari is not on loan. He's
permanent. I'm saying he
left.
From loan spells to loan spells, he went there on a permanent deal, and now he's one of the biggest defenders in the Serie A. So it just tells you that the quality of players Chelsea keeps buying from other academy setup and keeps selling out is not really what you should look at. It's not something you should be proud of. I think for that reason, this season they've not really done a good business.
They've not
really done a good business. So if they could finish in the same position they finished last season,
it's
a bonus for them.
Okay, John. Let's talk about Manchester City, because Manchester City, they signed only one player. That's Savinho. They signed only Savinho in this summer, and Pep lost Alvarez. Now Bob is injured, so he is trying to. I think they are talking probably to get in probably one more attacker before end of the window. But Pep is like, I'm okay. My squad is good, but everybody knows Pep is Pep. Even if they don't sign anybody, nobody can write him off like Liverpool because of Pep Guardiola. Okay, now looking at this City squad, I know you're a City fan, you're number one fan, but looking at this City squad, do you think they can retain this title? Because if Haaland is injured, probably say Haaland is injured for like 2 months, what happened to this team? Do you think that they need to bring in another attacker before the end of the summer?
Okay, for me, I think it's a valid question and it needs to be answered, because at the end of the day, Pep Guardiola is going to look at his side, look at the players he has in his side, and he needs to come to terms with the fact that you need a cover for Erling Haaland, and that's the truth. Now, this is a player that is hardly injured, and even on an off-season, still delivered over 30 goals for City in all competitions. So, phenomenal striker. I feel like natural Guardiola would not go for another player. Guardiola made a statement that has been very canonical of his time at Manchester City, which means if we sell somebody from the bench, we don't replace. If we sell from the starting lineup, we replace. They sold what's his name now?
Alvarez.
They sold Sterling. Sterling was in the starting lineup. They replaced with Doku immediately. They've sold Julian Alvarez now about £82 million, and they may not make a signing, even though they have made a signing in Savinho. Now you can say that it's not a like-for-like replacement, but if he can come in this season and get in on the goals, it will be like Alvarez never left. So all that said and done, I still feel like they need to get in a backup striker. But even without Oscar Bob in the side, we still have other young, talented players that can come in and do a job. We still have McCarthy, who just came back from that loan spell. We still have O'Reilly and the rest of them. So we have.
But none of them are attackers.
Yeah,
they are wingers. They are wingers, but we're talking about attackers.
O'Reilly is a midfielder who does well in going forward, and there are other players in that. See, it's not about attackers really, because the Julian Alvarez style of play is not really the attack style of play. He actually started as a midfielder. If you look at his profile,
I think the problem with him is that he couldn't play as that number 9 for City, so he had to actually adapt, which I love about him.
Yeah,
he adapted as a probably he adapted everywhere, wings, behind the striker, just because that he needed to play football. But if you look at when he came from Brazil, he was the attacker. When he plays for Argentina, he is the lone attacker.
He's the star man up front. And
the star man up front, if you look at the Argentine scene, whenever he starts as well, he's always starting with, whenever there's no Messi on the pitch, he's always starting with what's called Lautaro Martinez. I hope I don't mispronounce that name. Lautaro Martinez. And you see that Lautaro Martinez is always the top 9 up front. He's always dropping into midfield. This player started off as an attacking midfielder. He's gone into many positions and he's played fantastic. Though he's a striker, but he can come in and play from the midfield. And I think with other players in the Man City fold, getting on the goals, not really just the strikers or the top 9, with Foden and all of that getting on the goals, I don't think they need any replacement. Foden can also play in that position.
I think they need to get a striker just to cover all bases.
Or probably he might move back like the old Guardiola, when he start playing midfielders as an attacker.
No,
Definitely.
but then you get to the Champions League and you want to win the Champions League, and games in the Champions League require you to have that edge, and you need to have the edge. So, City will win the Premier League title and finish in a quarter-final or semi-final in the Champions League with or without a striker this season.
Okay, let's see what Pep is always Pep. Even if Haaland is injured for the whole season, he can find a way to make his squad play and score goals. Okay, Manchester United. Manchester United, they are playing today, the first game of the season. Okay, so they have made a couple of signings. Coupled with the backroom staff. Yeah. They brought in a whole lot of backroom staff, the medicals, the sporting director. They brought in a whole lot of things. They want to make sure that Ten Hag is happy. They don't want an excuse. They have brought in 2 defenders because defense was a crisis for them last season. They played 30 defensive formation, different people in that defense. Now they brought in Euro. Even Euro is injured. He's going to be back maybe after 2 months. But the lead is them. Mazraoui just came in. They have Martinez already there. Now they bought Zesky too. If you look at Manchester United, the way they have conducted this summer, I think for me they should be winning the best transfer. But let's leave that one. But if you look at Manchester United on its own now, they are playing Fulham. We're going to be seeing what they are going to be doing. Now today will give us the taste of what they are going to be doing throughout the season. But have they done good in this transfer, and with what they have done in this market, can it take them to at least to challenge for the Premier League at least?
Premier League, yes, it might take them to challenge for the Premier League. That's why when I made my prediction, I put them there, because I know definitely that's why I put the first 3, because I know that's how it's going to be for top 3: Man United, Arsenal, and Man City. But for the transfer market so far, Man United has done a very terrible job.
Oh wow, okay.
I'll say this.
I disagree though.
De Ligt was one of the best signings for Juventus and was dropped by pecking order gradually until he left for Bayern Munich. Now in Bayern Munich, where one of the highest signings as a defender for Juventus, from Ajax to Juventus, was one of their best signings. Then suddenly he started to drop off the pecking order. Now, how do a player like that transit to play for a Bundesliga side in Bayern Munich, and it's also been dropped again gradually by the pecking order? And for players like Eric Dyer, for crying out loud, Eric Dyer would come from Tottenham Hotspur, that he has not touched a trophy in his life, and come to Bayern Munich and put you on the bench. And Man United fans are telling me he is one of the best signings. Come on, I'm looking at that signing with one corner of my eye. But all the same, I'm saying for Man United, other signings have been good. They let Wan-Bissaka go. They say they want to play pro-attacking football. Fine, you don't need a defender that doesn't get on the goals. And yet, you look at Dalot's numbers. Dalot doesn't get on the goals as well. He has only 4 goals a season. And Wan-Bissaka has maybe 2 goals a season, and yet has more defensive record than the attacking record. But Dalot doesn't have a defensive record, yet he has 4 goals a season, just 2 goals different between, or 6 goals involvement between the two of them, maybe just 4 4-goal difference between the two of them, and you preferred a Dalot because he likes to run forward and doesn't like to defend ahead of Wan-Bissaka. Fine, Man United fans will be happy with that. Then you have an in-signing of Mazraoui, who can play from the left wing and from the right in the center and fullback. So I think Mazraoui is a positive signing for Man United in case if Shaw is injured. But in the prospect of the players they've brought in from their youth setup as well, I'm beginning to see talent there. There's a Toby Kula who can play in midfield. He's dominant. His height, in short, he's a very tall. People call him tall. He plays like Michael Carrick. I see the likes of Michael Carrick in him. With Ariamas coming in, they can just infuse this youth prospect into the first team that they signed, and it's a good team.
Then Zeski, then buying Zeski as a striker.
Zeski on his own said he's not a 9 and he's not a 10, so put him as a 9.5.
So, but he has to play as a striker though at some point. Okay, let's move away from Manchester United. We're going to see they play the game today. They will see what they are going to be doing, even though they are probably going to sign one more midfielder to help the Kobe Mino and Casemiro in that midfield. So we'll see how the transfer, when they finish up the transfer. Okay, let's move to another one, John. Arsenal, the business they did, they brought in a defender, Kaliofoli, and they have not. People always keep saying that they need a striker, but Arteta disagrees. Based on how he's taking this transfer market, he's not looking to buy a striker. Now he's going to probably get another midfield to help the party them and the rise them. But generally, if you look at Arsenal, for the past 2 seasons, they have played one of the best footballs, apart from Manchester City in England. Do you think they can maintain that standard and probably do one more this season?
No, okay. Let me explain. One of the reasons why I feel like this is not going to be that season for Arsenal is because this is the Premier League, this is football, and one way or another, you're either going to learn. If you're not going to learn by will, you're going to learn by the pain of you suffer in the game. And go ask Guardiola, he's going to tell you after winning the Premier League titles, doing everything, and yet couldn't conquer the mountain of the Champions League. At the end of the day, he took his cap in hand and went and got a striker. And the case has been different ever since. He's won a Champions League title and everybody is happy. So at the end of the day, Arteta is either going to willingly learn this lesson or is either going to painfully learn this lesson when he loses the title for a 3rd time in a row. When Arsenal's side starts suffering from diminishing returns in terms of the amount of energy you put in season 1 to push for the title got you 2nd. You came in the following year, you put that and some more, it got you 2nd. And you do ×2 and you end up 3rd because maybe somebody else like a Man U or a Chelsea strengthened with better players and you are not able to reap off the benefits you had when those teams were underperforming. Let's call it what it is. This is the Premier League. This is business. It's no longer business as usual. So, for me, strengthening the defense, fantastic. It's like somebody who is building a masterpiece, going back to cross the T's and dot the I's one more time by adding a Calafiori, which means Arsenal are going to lock up shop at the back. We are not going to see them give away crazy chances to opposition strikers. But you come back to the midfield, you dot your T's and you cross your I's once more. You are looking to add a Mikel Merino into the side. You're also looking to add a few young players into the side, like we saw with you, Ethan Nwaneri that played in the preseason. But the gaping hole in the team, you are just, glossing it over. Probably I feel like he's going to come to rue not making that purchase, and time will tell.
Probably he believes that Jesus and Havertz can do the job, but we're going to be seeing that because they are going to be playing on Saturday. Okay, generally now I think we'll finish up with the big guys. Now, who do you think that won this transfer market apart from these big guys, these big 4 we talked about, big 5 we talked about? I'm thinking West Ham. Let's talk about West Ham. You are a West Ham fan.
Yeah.
Let's talk about West Ham. Go back briefly because they made some crazy signing, Wan-Bissaka and other. They brought this guy from Wolves, the defender from Wolves, Kiosman, right? Yeah. So they brought in a whole lot of players. No. So if you look at this West Ham, where are you seeing them finish? I think that they make one of the highest number of players this summer. So where do you think that they are going to be finishing?
I will quote Antonio on this one. He said, everybody who is coming into the team is coming to fight. So, and here I have been in the team for some time now, and I will continue to fight for my space. It means there is no handy bonuses. for starting places. If you want to come into a West Ham United side, you need to fight. And I think that's the mentality. If the coach would actually infuse that mentality in all the players, then they should be challenging for top 6.
Okay.
But it's a Premier League season. You're bringing in many players from different places around the world. The only 2 additions they added was just Kilman from Wolverhampton Wanderers and Cyril Somerville from I think Leeds United.
Yeah.
Aside from those 2 players, and Wan-Bissaka from Man United. So those are the 3 players he brought in from the Premier League. Aside those 3, it's all around the world. Different 9 weeks. I'll stick on different 9 weeks. So that 9 weeks put together is about 18 weeks of not good football for West Ham United. So I think it's going to hurt us.
I actually disagree with you in a sense, but we'll talk about that maybe in another show. But the main disagreement I'm bringing is that you look and you say West Ham have done a perfect summer transfer window.
I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm just saying
I'd give it to Aston Villa though. Aston
Villa
have
we didn't talk about Aston Villa, but
signings.
Aston Villa made good signings too. If you look at it too, they made a whole lot of signings. But I'm just based on the number of players that entered the club once. I think West Ham bought a whole number of first-team players this summer.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, the features for this weekend Manchester United is playing today. They are going to play in Fulham. Okay, for the first game of the weekend, let's do the prediction. Just prediction 1-1. You give me your predictions and let's go. Okay. Let's start with you, John. Man U, Fulham. What's your scoreline?
Fulham edging it 1-0.
Oh, what's your scoreline? Man U, Fulham.
3-1, Man United.
Okay, on Saturday, Ipswich will be playing Liverpool. Your scoreline, John?
Liverpool 2-1.
0-0.
0-0.
Pack offshore, pack trailer full everywhere.
Okay, the 3 p.m. game starts with Newcastle versus Southampton.
Newcastle 3-0.
Newcastle 2-0.
Okay, Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth.
Draw 1-1.
1-1.
Nottingham Forest all the way.
Okay, Arsenal versus Wolves.
2-1 Arsenal.
Draw 1-1.
1-1. Everton versus Brighton.
Brighton 1-0.
Brighton.
Oh, Brighton. We both of you agreed on this one. Okay. And okay. West Ham versus Aston Villa. That's the final game of the day. West Ham versus Aston Villa. No, so let me start with you.
At
that
East
one.
London Stadium, I'll say it's a draw.
It's a draw. Okay, John.
2-1 Aston Villa.
Aston Villa is winning. Okay, on Sunday, 2 p.m. is Brentford and Crystal Palace.
Palace
winning.
2-1.
Brentford.
1-0.
Yeah.
1-0. Okay, and the big one, Chelsea versus Manchester City. Let me start with you, John.
4-1.
4-1 to
Man City.
Oh wow. Okay, no, so
2-1.
2-1.
Man City.
Okay, guys, that's it from us. So my guys have made the prediction for the weekend's game and their own top 4. Me, I think that Arsenal will win the league, but that's my own opinion. Okay, guys, when you watch this video, please subscribe and like. Follow us throughout this Premier League season, because we are going to be previewing almost all the games, after the games, before the games. We are going to be following it back to back to see who is going to be crowned champions at the end of the season.